This is the Nations Conspire channel. Welcome to today's show. This is a very important video about predictive programming. I've covered Black Mirror over the years. I even covered the trailer when it came out a few weeks ago. And now the new season of Black Mirror is out. And Black Mirror shows you the truth in plain sight more than anything else. And I use Black Mirror in my videos to show you this because it's an easier way for people to understand what exactly they're doing with technology. It exposes it all. It reveals it all. Of course, it's more of a horror series. People are horrified when they see this, but they don't even realize they're being trained into it in the real world by people like Elon Musk and these big tech companies who are openly talking about mixing man and machine and removing cell phones and implanting them in your body. Well, this is really important, okay? This new season of Black Mirror has an episode called Plaything. And everybody's talking about it. People Magazine has an article. They're saying, what happens to humanity in Plaything at the end of the episode? And they all speculate about it. But of course, they don't give you the real answer to what this is about because it's happening right in front of you. These big tech companies are already using this technology on human beings. So this character talks about coexisting. He's obsessed with a video game, so to speak, where he talks about the things in the video game being alive and real, kind of like we heard Gordy Rose talk about, right? Kind of like we heard about Elon Musk telling us that with artificial intelligence, we're summoning the demon. So he talks about coexisting, merging human beings with technology, that our mind is a computer and it's a platform for these things to coexist inside of. Watch this.
Absorbing their thoughts on your own?
Yes, we've been working together.
How?
And they wanted to coexist with humans. They need to study our minds, not just psychologically, but physically, to work out a means of coexistence. Improvement for both of us. Over time, working in unison, we designed a neurological interface that would allow them to connect to me directly. It entailed a little home surgery. Not pleasant, but not as painful as I thought. Plug and play. The mind is a computer, and the throng are code. I just hooked myself up, and they ported themselves across as proof of concept. They didn't overwrite anything on their way in. They just merged with me, like a benign parasite. Symbiotic coexistence. I'm part of a collective whole, and each day, our mental capacity evolves.
For this magic machine, man, you're the enlightened one.
I'm part of a collective whole. I'm part of a collective whole.
So does that neurological interface connected directly with a machine, does that remind you of anything? Does it remind you at all of Elon Musk's Neuralink? Because that's exactly what they're referencing. That's exactly what they're referencing. And again, he goes on to talk about in some of these scenes how you're not going to need to even have it implanted in you anymore. They could just use signals. And he's referencing the nanotechnology that's going inside and already inside of people's bodies. But keep in mind what you saw in that clip. You saw the Neuralink being used. You saw that this man is talking about him being a platform that these entities can use, right? At the same time, they're telling you they want to get a Neuralink in you. The same time, they're telling you AI is going to take over. The same time, they're talking about super intelligence, which would be man and machine merging as one and coexisting. Did you hear what he said about symbiosis and a symbiotic coexistence? Does that sound familiar? Because that's exactly what Elon Musk has been talking about for years. Creating a neural lace, which is what you just saw, is the thing that really matters for humanity to achieve symbiosis with machines. That's literally what you just saw there. This is the guy who is now hanging out in the White House with your president, who if he wasn't associated with Donald Trump, most people would say, whoa, this guy's a nut job. I don't want to take his tech. But what are they doing right now? They're victimizing him. They're lumping him up with conservatives by design because they know that they'll use their big tech giants and they'll use guys like Bill Gates to get the Democrats on board with this tech. They have to convince the conservative Christians that this is not the mark of the beast, that this is safe, that this is an advancement in technology. You don't want to miss the boat. So they've taken Elon Musk out of the shadows, literally, and they've put him in with Donald Trump, and he's now the face of our government. He's really just the most talked about person in America on a day in, day out basis along with Trump. That character said symbiotic coexistence. He's talking about Neuralink, which is exactly what you saw implanted in his head, which is the Neuralink for humans to achieve symbiosis with machines. And then he goes on to say, X is humanity's collective consciousness, just like that character talked about a collective consciousness, right? So now as we move on through this show, you're going to see him waiting to get a pen so he could draw on a piece of paper. He draws one of those codes that you always see at the, at the restaurants for your menu, or you see it everywhere. Now they put it pretty much on everything, and they want you to scan your phone with this code, right? So he draws this code. Then he turns over to a camera inside of this police station. And he does this for a reason. He does this so that the camera can download this code just like you do with your phone, or not you specifically, but people do with their phone when they're told, hey, you can't bring a ticket in anymore to the concert. You got to use your phone and scan the code, right? It'll download onto your phone. Well, that's what he does in this scene. And then watch how he talks about the emergency broadcast system and how that code that he sent in there is going to create chaos, how it's going to change everything. And watch how once that code goes through the camera lens, everybody's phone starts to download something. And as it downloads it and you wait for it to download, what ends up happening? Well, a signal is sent out and everybody just falls to the ground, looking like they're under demonic possession. Take a look at this.
So, what is that?
It's code.
I don't understand code.
No, but the system does. Possible to breach the firewall from outside. This is a simple program they wrote. Commands your state computer to open a back door for the throng, permitting access to all that juicy power, prompting an immediate singularity event. Will instantly adapt their essence into a signal, transmissible to the human mind. You won't need drugs or surgery. You'll merely have to hear it to receive it, to absorb it. Any moment now, we'll trigger the global emergency broadcast system, and the signal will be simultaneously disseminated by every connected device in the world. Here we go. This is transformative. You'll all emerge with an advanced collective intelligence, benevolent unity of mind, an upgrade for all of us, an end to conflict.
So a lot of those things should ring a bell to you. Let's just recap what you saw there, right? He scanned the code, and from there, all of the tech that's in everybody's hand. Remember, because everybody has this in their hand. Everybody has in their hand or their pocket or their purse, whatever. And it's downloading it now because they're sending the signal to everybody's phone. And then the phone goes static, right? And it makes this weird sound. It's going static, and then boom, everybody hears this frequency. And what happens? They go under possession. Right? It looks like demonic possession. They all pass out on the ground. They give us an aerial shot. And of course, he at the end there reaches his hand out to lift up the character who looks like he's potentially dead, but he's actually mixed with machine because of this code. Now, there's a few things to keep in mind here. Let's go back to the emergency alert. He said he's going to send an emergency broadcast alert that a code is going to, with that code, a sound is going to be sent, a signal, right? Remember those massive emergency alert tests that were going on?
So a heads up, speaking of alert systems, today you're going to get one, and you'll know it too, because it's going to be a loud, blaring alarm coming to your phones, your TV, all your devices here. It's coming out this afternoon, just a test though.
Yes, FEMA will test the emergency alert system around 1:20 Houston time. Chelsea Edwards is live in studio with how you can sign up for alerts in case of emergencies. I can just picture the classrooms at schools today with everybody's phones blaring at that same time. No need to panic. Right, Chelsea?
Right, no need to panic. So this is again scheduled for 1:20 our time, and they're hitting you two different ways with this test. One will go directly to your cell phone. You'll see this message here. This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed. Now, if your phone settings are set to Spanish, you'll see that message in Spanish. The message is supposed to be broadcast from cell towers for half an hour, but you should only get the message once. The whole purpose of this is to make sure you get notifications about emergencies, especially if we have a national one. So these alerts, again, they're sent out by FEMA, and to make sure that everyone can get them, everyone is notified, including people with disabilities. You'll also get a vibration on your phone, also a unique loud tone.
Just how dependent and vulnerable we are on semiconductors. Yes, we rely on these chips for consumer electronics and cars, but they're also in just about every...
It's a test alert. We knew it was coming. We already did one. It works. Yep.
I think your time is up, Senator.
We have an emergency in semiconductors.
The border from illegal immigrants and deadly drugs. Now, you know, when a train crashes, they often say that the engineer was asleep at the switch. Well, sleepy Joe Biden, he's been asleep at the switch, and people all across America are dying by the trainloads.
I only respond when there's an emergency. So everybody.
That's going to go up when we elect a speaker.
That's going to be going for a while.
Hitting us differently. I'm sorry.
It's not hitting my watch. Is it hitting anybody else's watch?
What were we all talking about? We're saying, could this be a test run here? Because a lot of people put a certain technology in their body that those people had right there in their phones, right? A lot of people have that same tech inside of them because of a certain something that happened. Remember, they did this is a test, nationwide alert will reach cell phones. And then all of a sudden a screeching noise came out of everybody's cell phone. Exactly what you saw in that clip. Now, did people fall to the ground? Did people become demonically possessed? Well, no, we didn't see anybody around us, at least. That did. And remember, the CDC was saying, get a kit, make a plan, be prepared for the zombie apocalypse. And what they're referencing here is DARPA government technology. Waveform Agile Radio Frequency Directed Energy, also known as Warden. And they're talking about what I talked about a couple years ago, the 5G remote kill vector. Science paper reveals cell phone signals can activate the release of biological payloads from graphene oxide injected into the body. People don't even realize that this technology, the government, again, if they came to your door with phones when they first came out, nobody would have taken one. They've gotten you to trust in these corporations, get addicted to the tech, and now nobody can live without it, right? So everybody in that scene that ended up hearing that signal ended up becoming possessed because of the frequency they were hit with. They were hit with the frequency, right? He had said about the nanotech, well, you don't really have to have the Neuralink implanted in your head anymore. I have it implanted in my head, but soon we won't need everybody to have it implanted. Just like Elon Musk said. He said you won't have to have it implanted. You're going to have your brain cut open like you're in the movie Hannibal. We could just inject it into, in fact, we don't even need to inject it anymore because we could just spray it onto you or put it in your food. Then you got nanotech inside of your body, and all it takes is a signal to be sent. And this is not the first time that we've seen this. This is predictive programming and conditioning, right? Remember movies like Cell? Of course, Stephen King, who's in the know with all of this stuff. That's why he writes all these books, not because he's a creative genius, okay? They marketed him as a creative genius, and he desensitizes you with these scripts from, books and movies like The Cell. I mean, there's tons of things that Stephen King is involved with, which of course, we see around us now, right? Here's just a bunch of clips about the phone, because most people out there don't know that the phone is really a weapon. The government has gotten you to carry a weapon around in your pocket. Remember all those pagers that went off? Hezbollah and all that stuff I covered a couple months ago. Remember that? And people were going, what? Your cell phone can blow up in your pocket? Well, of course it can, but most people out there don't know it. They've desensitized you, right? Movies like Jackpot with John Cena, sending signals to your phone so the phone catches fire because of the frequency that's sent, right? Movie The Cell, the movie The Kingsman. Take a look at these clips and start thinking to yourself about the phone and where the phone's headed. Because, again, Elon Musk is telling you that the phone is going to be obsolete. So they're showing you the phone and the Neuralink in that clip from Black Mirror. But the phone's going to be obsolete. Those people are walking around with a phone in their hand. But they're telling you that the phone eventually turns into you. And you're the one who coexists with technology. You're the one who has symbiosis and coexists with technology, which was warned about in the book of Daniel, the mixing of iron and clay. Here's just a couple other clips of how they've been showing you this stuff, yet people aren't paying attention to it.
know how either. Yeah. We need an urgent phone strike in our position, please. Yes? Give me your phone. Give me your phone.
What is a phone strike?
Let's find out.
You got the gun? I got the gun!
Take that phone!
Amber alert, we get an Amber alert?
Hi, Dad.
Hey, buddy.
Terrorists, right? It's gotta be terrorists.
Don't use your cell phone.
People are gonna die.
You okay?
They act for the good of the group as a whole. They may be the next stage in human evolution. What's happening now is more than temporary anarchy. It's the start of a war.
Just like the infidel you are. Oh, if you now, you will eat your babies, you will drown.
Callahan, can you hear me?
I didn't expect it to be that effective.
What kind of response are we talking?
100%.
So everyone's been affected, whether they have a SIM card or not.
I can't stop this.
So this is the truth in plain sight. This is all DARPA technology, government technology, and they're showing you out in the open, right? They're showing you, okay, look, here's a brain chip he implanted in his head. Everyone should automatically think of the Neuralink. You should think of that video, the video after video I've done where I've told you and showed you where Elon Musk is saying, hey, we got all these Starlinks up. You're never going to go offline. And people go, that's great. That's a relief. If I'm in the middle of the desert, I'm never going to go offline, right? Creating Skynet. But then saying your phone is going to be obsolete. So you go, what? My phone isn't going to work anymore? Then what's the point of all the Starlinks? Well, you're going to have a brain-computer interface. The tech's going to be inside of you. And then, of course, you'll be controllable. Kind of like the signal that was sent to all those characters at the end of that show. And then they say, of course, we'll achieve world peace, right? When we mix with this thing that we don't even know what it is, but Elon Musk tells us that we're summoning the demons with artificial intelligence, right? And humans mix with artificial intelligence, and they think, wow, we become super beings. We become peaceful beings. You're no longer a human being. And that's fully why I believe it's the mark of the beast. Because once your genetic code is altered, you're no longer a creation of God. You're a creation of Satan and the people responsible for this technology who worship him out in the open. So that's the newest episode of Black Mirror. I'll cover some more of the episodes, not in a row. It's going to take time for me to watch some of them. I know there's other predictive programming with brain-computer interfaces and artificial intelligence. Just the theme, the horror show that they're bringing forward to us through artificial intelligence, and we don't push back on it. Because again, people are trained, they're like, that's not going to happen. Terminator's not going to happen, right? Well, all these guys who are creating the AI are going, oh yeah, you're not going to have, you're not going to need a job. You're not going to have a purpose to live anymore. We're trying to figure out the purpose for you to live. That's what Elon Musk and Bill Gates talk about. We're trying to figure out what your purpose in life will be because we're going to take away your purpose with AI. And your purpose is to be a slave to them. And just be happy if they let you live. But most importantly, they want to make sure you take this technology so that they serve their master, the devil, and you take the mark of the beast and are no longer a creation of God. You're a servant and a slave to Satan. Very scary time to be alive. But this is the truth in plain sight. Black Mirror always shows it. That episode, again, was called Plaything, episode 4 of Black Mirror. I'll go through some of the other episodes as well. Most people will see it and they'll be like, that's not what the Neuralink is. It's helping people who are paralyzed. You're just a hater. It's helping people, like, it's going to eventually help Michael J. Fox, I hope, right? That's what they're thinking about when they see the Neuralink, because they're getting trained into thinking that this is for the benefit of paralyzed people. And who are they to say, we can't make this tech, right? Those people are sick. They need it. All right. Then, of course, the marketing changes to you. You could be a better human. You could have you don't have to have universal basic income. Maybe you have universal high income if you're mixed with a machine, because you'll be as smart as a machine. You'll be a superhero, right? All that programming they've done over the last 50 years or so. It's incredible. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.